You can blame me, try to shame me, and still I'll care for you. You can run around, even put me down, still I'll be there for you. The world may think I'm foolish, they can't see you like I can. Oh, but anyone who knows what love is will understand.
Venetian, $600, 250K, day 1C. March Madness is going on, so it should be a very, very large turnout today. Field will be as recreational as possible. As I stated before, always play the last starting day of a multi-flight tournament. We're gonna bag and tag. Oh yeah. Welcome to another edition of the Boski Breakdown. Today we'll be looking at a hand I played in the Venetian $600 250K guaranteed. With blinds at 100, 200, we have a 28,000 chip stack and we're under the gun with pocket queens. We make it 550 chips to go. The cutoff calls, the button calls, and the blinds fold. We're 3 to a flop. The flop comes Queen, 9, 8. We have top set and we're looking to get some action. We bet 650 chips. The cutoff folds and the button calls. The turn is an ace. At this point, I'm putting my opponent on something like 9-10, Jack 9, Ace 9, Ace 8, hopefully Ace Queen, although unlikely since we have 2 queens. So we check, thinking that betting twice will overrep our hand and get him to fold a lot of weaker hands. He decides to bet 1,600. There's only one hand that beats us. So we're going to set the trap and go for big value on the river. We call the 1,600, and the river is an offsuit 4. At this point, we can either lead and call a raise, or we can check raise and fold to a jam. It all depends on how strong of a hand our opponent has. If he has something like 2 pair, Ace Queen, Ace 8, Ace 9, hopefully a set of 8s or 9s, we can get a lot more value from check raising the river, assuming he bets. But if he has something like 9-10, Jack 9, Queen King, he's going to check back a lot of rivers and we're not going to get any value. Assuming we take the line of check raise and he jams, he's only repping one hand, which is Jack 10, which is the nuts, and we have the second nuts. The only problem with this line is if he'll jam over our check raise on the river with pocket 8s or pocket 9s for value, discounting Jack 10 from our range. At this point, we would have to fold and get severely owned in a set over set situation. I'm not sure the likelihood of this versus the likelihood of him having Jack 10. A lot more combos of Jack 10 than 8-8 or 9-9. So when factoring in the optimal river line, I think it's best to lead call to get value, or just lead and he calls and we get value. So on the river, we bet 1,700, hoping he'll raise with his two pair hands. He quickly raises to 4,000, a small raise. We go into the tank. It's such a small raise, I'm almost enticed to 3-bet the river for value, which is another option now. But then if he jams, we have to fold because he can only have Jack 10. So it's a really tough spot. We can go a lot of ways. I know, tough spot, second nuts, tough life, I know. But we decided to just call the 4,000 after putting in 1,700 on the river. He shows Jack 10. Second nut's no good. And we're down to 20,000 chips. 20,000. First break. Coming back to 1-2 with an ante. Started with 20,000. Got up to 28,000, but got coolered and didn't go broke, so that's good. $48,000, going to 500 big blind. Oh, we're bagging and tagging.
Before we get started this evening. And 7 p.m. Rowdy Dealers. If you start the shuffle quickly, the handle.
And we are out. 10 hours of play, $0 won, $600 lost. Welcome to Tournament Poker. When purchasing a filet mignon from the store, the two most important things to look for is how it's trimmed and the marbling. You want the marbling to look like a river with its tributaries of fatty, marbled goodness. This fat will melt into the meat proportionately when you cook it to give it great flavor. Combined with the seasoning and juiciness, you have the ultimate delicacy.
If that was the case, then I would have won. Oh no.
1 minute remaining this level.
One of my buddies from the suburbs of Detroit is in town, staying at the South Point for March Madness. He wants to hang out. He wants to play some poker. They got cash games. I'm down to play some cash games. It's late, but we're still down. Let's do this. We go to South Point. We sit down at the 1-2 no limit game, max buy-in of 300. We buy in for the max. We feel we have an edge on these locals and out-of-towners, so we want to punish them. We want to have fun with our buddy. We want to chat it up and have a good time, have a couple drinks. We're under the gun, and we straddle for $4. Under the gun plus 2 limps, button limps, big blind calls, and we check our option with Queen 9 offsuit. The flop comes Jack, 10, 5, 2 spades. Big blind checks. We bet $12. Under the gun 2 quickly makes it $32 with a $300 stack. I'm putting him on something like top 2, Jack for Jack 10, possibly Ace Jack. Probably not a flush draw. Most people would just call with a flush draw. Maybe a set of 5s. King Queen will probably call with, but a quick raise usually is for strength, and the sizing wants to get value and protection. The other 2 players fold, and we make the call. The turn is an 8 of spades, bringing in the flush and giving us our straight. We do have the 9 of spades, which is a somewhat relevant blocker for flushes of his. So we check. He snap shoves $270 into a pot of $70. He's repping a flush, 2 pair, maybe a set. As you know, I'm a tournament player. I'm not sure of the tendencies of these cash game regs or recreationals. Not sure what he is. Only been at the table for about 20 minutes. But we made our straight. We're with our buddy. We're here to have a good time. Folding's no fun. If he's got a bigger flush, we're drawing dead. But he might have 2 pair or a set, trying to protect it. So we make the call. The river is an offsuit deuce. He shows pocket 5s. We show the straight. And we scoop a $600 pot.